Three. All right, everybody out there in social land, how is everybody doing? So today we're going to be talking about a topic that is affecting everybody in the United States. I mean, there's nobody escaping, and that is the topic of insurance, particularly what's called property and casualty, which is your cars, but more importantly, here we're going to talk about, because we're always talking about real estate, insurance on your properties. I mean, there's been a lot of companies that have left. For example, here in California, Geico is one of them. You cannot find a physical office for them anymore. They have bailed. The fires and all kinds of flooding and things that have been going on have just made some of these companies just crack and decide, you know what, we're exiting that market. So things have become more expensive, and therefore it's even more important now than ever to have a really great agent, which is the point of this video today. And today we have the pleasure of having Roberto Zamora. Him and his mom owned their own farmers agency. And so we're here to talk a little bit and get the scoop. What is going on, Roberto?
Man, what's going on is not only are we farmers insurance agents, but we're brokers. So we've been exercising our broker arm of our business much more the past 9 months than we have the first couple of years of my insurance career.
Explain that difference between when you're brokering and when you're not. What does that mean?
So we have two kinds of agents, captive agents and non-captive agents. Your state farms are captive agents. Farmers looks like a captive agent when you think about it, but the way our contract works is if farmers decides to say no, they don't have an appetite for it, then we are allowed to go to market. And with broker experience from day one, it's been kind of a no-brainer to place coverage. We don't like to tell our clients no. We like to tell them manage their expectations, let them know you may not get the quote today. I may need 4 or 5 days to turn this around. Also, there's not a big market for whatever you're looking for. So when you see that price, you may get a little sticker shock.
So then it really opens up your world to a lot more options, especially now. That's so critical, right?
Yes, really knowing where our risks are and what companies want to take those risks. Are we dealing with a home built in 1901 in San Francisco with knob and tube? Are we dealing with a new build in Bethel Island where it's brand new everything? We got all the suppression systems, brand new, everything good to go. Or are we dealing with a home built in the 50s in Pittsburgh? Those are all three different scenarios that require a different company to place each coverage.
Plus, I would think like flood zones or earthquake areas like here in San Francisco. I mean, all those things kind of play into the whole insurance and also pricing. Yeah.
Correct. And then the way things have been priced since the pandemic, the Department of Insurance hasn't allowed these standard carriers to operate with the correct premium. When the company collects premium, it goes into a bucket so that when there is a disaster that we're collecting $1,500 so that we can pay out $500,000 to rebuild a home. And where the current market is with no rate increases, we haven't been able to keep up with inflation. Things in 2019 were completely different than they are in 2024. Even just going to my favorite example, I know we're talking about property, but looking at cars, the price of cars has gone up $10,000 easily. And you're the money man. How much has money gone from 2019 to 2024? There's no more 3.5% interest rate on cars. We're looking at 8 or 9. And just think about how that translates to home,
So true.
with paint, with contractors. Everything that goes on with rebuilding a home has also gone up. So therefore, it translates that the contracts that insurance companies take on, they've got to charge a higher premium.
Yeah, and if they're not allowed to, this is the reason why we were seeing an exodus of these companies leaving. I mean, and to your point, I mean, look, I think what insurance, if you just take the average 3-2 home, I mean, insurance has gone what, tripled? What is it?
I would say we've seen increases, 3-4x. We've seen like currently I have a client that is getting non-renewed by Liberty Mutual in San Francisco. for about a 3,000 square foot home. Beautiful home, well taken care of. They got new roofs. They take care of their electrical and plumbing. They're good. They're good to their home. Instead of 2,500, they're looking at $9,000 this year. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, look, and folks, so if you're getting pre-approved to buy a house, right? Now that insurance that used to be a super tiny little piece is 3 or 4x. That is going to affect your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, but it's also going to affect your debt to income ratio, or what we call DTI, to qualify. So that means, it takes more income to qualify because of the 3 to 4 times higher premiums for insurance that has to be factored in to your monthly payment that you're qualifying for. It's big. It can be a big, big difference of purchase price that you qualify for, because now that goes down unless your wages are going up, right? I mean, and look, all these increases in prices is what's causing this whole pandemonium of inflation, which is keeping interest rates higher. We were all hoping that the Fed would lower the federal funds rate here in March, but it's not going to happen. They're punting. Hopefully it'll happen the next time around, but this is taking longer than any of us would have ever predicted. And I like to read the tea leaves and all the technicals, and man, it's brutal. It is brutal. So be prepared and make sure that you have a fantastic agent. Contact Roberto, because they've been in the business a long time. They're very honest. They know what they're talking about, and that's super critical. And they have your best interest, but at the same time, they're telling you the reality. Because sometimes it just is what it is. They can't control, right, what insurance premiums are doing throughout the country.
I think
So
that's a huge point as to why you need a good team behind you. We've got me and you have many mutual friends in real estate that they call me when they're looking at the property now. We just want to look at it. This is what we're looking at. We're not even going to put in the offer yet. Is it insurable? How much is the insurance going to cost? Is this going to be an issue? Should we put in contingencies? So not just from my side or from your side, there's that third part when you're purchasing a home,
absolutely.
that having a good real estate agent can really, really make the difference.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it does, look, we've heard it before. It's kind of cliche, but it's true. It takes a village these days. You got to have your team in place, because without it, this is going to be not impossible, but it's going to hurt a lot more, right? So what are some of the things that the consumer watching here can do to really prepare themselves for this whole insurance, and how do they even shop it, or should they just come to you and let you do that and get multiple
Um,
quotes?
so I think definitely good to have a relationship with your insurance agent or broker. I'm more than happy to do any kind of reviews. You see my number there at the bottom of the screen. You can email me at roberto@banuelosinsurance.com. And I just had someone reach out this morning for their auto insurance, and they sent me a screenshot of it was actually someone's lead bassist sent it over to me. Some drummer having trouble with their insurance, and I just sent them a quick email with some adjustments. This is what you should do. This is how you have the correct insurance, because the rate where they were paying looks pretty good. I don't want to make them switch just to come over to me for me to make a little bit more money is not the right thing to do at this time. When there's clients who aren't getting their non-renew or aren't getting a renewal.
And that's the key. That is absolutely the key, is to make sure that somebody's very, very honest with you and lets you know if you're okay, or if they could do better, right?
Yeah, I think
Is
part of why our brokerage is called Banuelos Insurance Solutions. We're not here to sell you on anything. We're not here to provide you stuff that you don't need. We're not here to fluff you up. We're here to give you a solution because you have a problem, because you need to get to that finish line, and that's where we're here to get you to.
Yeah, I really love that. And I've experienced that because you insure a lot of my clients, and I've seen it over the years. So you guys have been consistent about that.
I think one of
What's a good
I would
what's
say
that?
I would say one of my favorite stories is one of your clients. Initially they didn't go with me, and then the next year they called me and it didn't work out. But then the next year they called me and now they're my client. So this isn't just a one time ordeal. It's an every year thing. I'm 32
Yeah,
years old, and hope to God I'll be here for another 32.
there you go. It's a long game, right? And we earn
It's not
our
about today, it's about
clients
everyone's future.
by our actions, and we earn the trust, over time. So, we are those people who will be here the long haul. and we are consistent about our core values and our ethics and putting your best interest first. It's just really kind of the bottom line. And that's who you want. That's who you want on your team. What else would you say to the consumer watching as we close of what to expect maybe moving forward this year in 2024?
I would say definitely everyone expects some increases. It's a rate correction over the past couple of years. And if we could have a good year, I've heard from a couple companies that the end of 2023 to right now has been financially good for them. So if we can keep that trend going, then we can possibly get on the right track. I think the biggest thing as a consumer is to use your insurance for what it's for. Use your insurance for the big catastrophic losses. Use them for the big things that you can't financially afford. If you can pay for something out of pocket, probably the best solution at this point, because we want to protect the
That's good advice.
insurance policy. We want to make
Yeah.
sure the company has no reason to non-renew you. It's in real estate, there's buyers and sellers market. Right now, I'm seeing that shift in insurance where, as the consumer, we have to sell the client to the company. You have to be able to be a part of this club, be a part of this fraternity or sorority, however you want to look at it. You've got to meet the qualifications. It's not which one do I get to be a part of. It's
No, that's true. And I saw that because I was blown away when you said, well, let me see if I can squeeze in that policy because they're only taking so many policies. I'm like, what? I've never heard that before. Like they have a cap on the number of policies they will take.
Yep.
So sometimes if you don't fit, you don't fit into their box or you're not a VIP, they might not take you at all.
And that's where, just like on your end, you got to be creative sometimes. You got to have solutions. You can't just tell them what the issue is. You got
There's
to.
that word again. Yeah, absolutely. Solutions. So, guys and gals, there's his phone number. Give him a call. Even with your existing stuff, he will give you a free assessment to see if you're in the right product, if you're insured properly. You know, the majority of people in the United States, believe it or not, they're underinsured. Make sure that you don't get caught when something happens because you never know when things happen. Who would have predicted this whole pandemic and all the stuff that's going on, right? So now more than ever, I think that's the number one lesson is be prepared. Don't make assumptions. And if you want me to do an email intro to him, please reach out to me. I am more than happy because he's definitely part of my inside tribe of network that is big. Remember, my network is your network. So please reach out to me. I'll do an intro via email or call him direct, 510-309-9356. Hey, Roberto, thank you so much, man. And thank you for taking care of my clients. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Always, Ed.
All right, buddy. You have a great day. Take care.